Now, when you talk about in cyber, sea, land, and space, the future war, and how the AI is going to impact that, let's just deliberate about the history, how the history of battle space is evolved. Generally, as you all know, that it is battle space is was shaped by proactive dominant powers earlier, like Asian, European, and Americans, and right now it is maybe US, USSR, and China, and also it is also the shaping of war and is basically governed by the strong points of the particular dominant force, which has changed with time. Initially with UK, with the marine forces, they have come through sea. Then, of course, being an industrial power, US and Europeans, they have focused on tanks, ships, planes, and artilleries. Then, of course, nuclear power, and then NATO countries coming through ITC, net-centric warfare, and now, presently, US, USSR, as well as the Chinese, if you say AI. Now, what will be the doctrine is to be explored, which is what we are going to do now. The battle space, if you see, of course, we have, it is a very funny thing right now, because land, maritime, and air, we have defined space. We always know what is the air limit, where are our doctrine, which is our limits. But when you come to air, cyberspace, there is no demarcation about the space, no restriction, and it touches all facets of life, all facets of society. And that is one of the vulnerable point also. Now, if you say typically Huda loop, I think which you know that, and dwell upon this more, all of you must be knowing is that the Huda loop for decision making in the military is based on observe, then orient, then decide, and then act. These are the four facets. Now, all of these four facets, if you go in the warfare system, it is going to, the AI is going to accelerate each of these four domains. And we can say that even if you use a limited AI for command, for human in loop or human on the loop, and for also envisaging the future state, AI replaces the Huda loop. Whether we have to just see whether it will completely replace or it will make the Huda loop more efficient. The AI for the future warfare, if you see all the four facets, it definitely intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, all AI will assist and intelligence gathering for analysis, because as your Internet of Things comes, a lot of sensors going to be in place. We are going to have a lot of data, and more data you have, the AI can be more effective. Military logistic for predictive maintenance, as well as trying to see a strength, having to know about what are the hardwares you have and how exactly you can optimally utilize for the war, it is going to help. Command and control, definitely AI for fusing data and heterogeneously sources and providing common operating picture, and AI for planning, decision making, it is going to help in a large way. Semi-autonomous or autonomous vehicle, definitely I think as Chairman already said it, whether you would like to concentrate on only semi-autonomous or completely autonomous, what is the implication of that has to be dwelled upon. Effect of war on the AI, the top level, of course, you know that it is going to help in analysis of current state. Top level management can definitely predict the future also based on the data available. Since you have big data, we can always predict what could be the state, but we cannot 100% depend on that. Still, human intervention may be required. Influencing the adversary's behavior is another thing which can be predicted using AI. These are some of the things I am just touching, giving a thought. Maybe probably we can discuss on this more subsequently. Similarly, on the command level, we can have decision support system. We can have a replication of experts, because now when it is a command level, there may be one commandant who is very expert in decision making, but some other commandant may not be. In conventional warfare, there is always a vulnerability. But being AI, and if it is net centric, then I think we can actually have the expert's opinion all over, and then we can try to pool these resources and work towards effective command. Then similarly, autonomous agents also can be utilized where risk for human beings can be reduced. Optimum unpredictability. Now, this is one of the tasks which has to be developed again more, because normally when you apply AI, you can always find an optimal solution. But the moment you make an optimal solution, there is always a risk, because the other person, if he has AI, he also knows what your plans are. So we have to also find out whether we have to optimally deviate from the best solution and try to mislead. And that is going to be a challenge, and which way it is going to lead and where we are going to land ultimately is not clear. Information processing, of course, now earlier so far, the filtering of information is more important now, because earlier war scenarios, there is to be a shade of war. That means in the front there are something happening, but as you go behind, we are actually not having complete information. But with present scenario, we are having all the data, all the information available. The information is so much that it may also glare the war. And again, it becomes very difficult for the individual human beings to make a decision with so many data available, so that this particular AI tool can also be utilized for actually avoid the glare and get clarity as to what is to be done. Constraint checking, scenario exploration, and these are the areas where probably we can definitely use AI effectively. Complexities can be reduced because human minds generally are bogged down with limitation of analyzing data. If you have too much of data, I think the mind goes blank. And that is where I think AI can be used for actually effectively utilizing AI tools for complex scenarios. Now, of course, these slides I skipped because some of the activities which is being carried out in DRDO, I thought just flash it. Otherwise, now what are the implications? What difference and AI makes in the war scenario? Performance enhancement is one which I already just discussed briefly. Non-human option can also be explored, where Chairman has said, I think, whether we can have completely autonomous. Are we going to fight a war with machine to machine, or we are going to have an intervention of human beings? Behavioral changes is one of the phenomena we should understand. I think earlier when we are fighting one-to-one. If you go back here, I think the war scenario has also changed with time. If you talk about before First World War, the aircraft has just been invented, and then the usage of aircraft has been banned, I understand, in late 18th century, and after that, the First World War, actually the aircraft has been used. Similarly, radar technology came in Second World War. Now, after that, there is no World War, but what is happening? We are struggling with LIC, the low intensity conflict. There is no peak war, which is localized effect, but it is going distributed war and continuously, which is actually disturbing society. Now, when you talk about AI, this is going to the fifth dimension, as it is said, after three facets of armed forces. Now, fourth dimension is, of course, space, where the limit of the space is not there, but at the same time, AI is cutting across all society. There is no boundary, as I said, and I do not know where it is going to land, because we cannot define, whom we are fighting at and which location. Who are the people? No boundaries at all. So these are one of the very different type of ball game, and that is where the behavioral changes are going to happen, because the moment, as you have seen, that even conventional machines, when you get into automation, the human tendency is to relax. When you have AI, which is actually working on your mind set is also going to change, and that is going to change the behavioral changes in the society itself. Command and control, of course, it is going to effectively affect the war scenario. Intelligence, human intelligence and artificial intelligence, if you compare briefly, you know that zero-order intelligence, basically human being developed with childhood. As a child, I think we generally respond to the instantaneous observations, we respond, that is zero-order. First order, when you have some have to learn with some changing scenarios, but second order is the one which is more complex, where we actually can you maneuver with the change scenarios, which is happening continuously, change scenarios. And that is what we call it as, generally for a human being at the around age of 5 or 6, people try to go into the order of second order approximation and intelligence. But whereas artificial intelligence, right now we are on zero and first order. Second order, the moment we come to, the machines will become all intelligence. But again, one thing they lack, that is the EQ, the emotional quotients will be lacking. So in the decision making, it may learn how to react to the response of other responses, but still the emotional quotient will not be there, and that may be catastrophic for the society. AI, autonomous and accountability. Who will account for this AI? Now, if you know that if it is zero order, generally any automatic systems, the manufacturers makes it and it's a response based on rule based. But if it is on second order, it based on learning. And once it is based on learning, I think you must be aware, recently there was also an article all around that when you have autonomous vehicle running around, if there is an accident, who is responsible for that? Because human being is not there, whether it should be responsibility of the manufacturer or it is a responsibility of the owner. And if it is a second order AI, then you can imagine whom you should fix the responsibility. There is no law in place, and that is going to be really dangerous, and which we have to think up to what extent we need to go on this. Can AI